We've just been hearing from Jurgen Klopp here at the AXA Training Centre ahead of Liverpool resuming their Premier League campaign with a trip to face Wolves at Molineux, and plenty of interesting talking points in this press conference, you have to say. I think the best place to start really is in terms of the team news. A lot of interesting stuff there. The big one that came out of it is that Trent Alexander-Arnold has been ruled out of this game. We know he suffered a hamstring injury just prior to the international break. There was a suspicion maybe amongst some supporters that maybe it was just one of those international break injuries where it would just keep him out of England duty and then he will be available, but that is proven not to be the case, with Jurgen Klopp confirming he will miss this game, and in fact it's going to be an injury that keeps him out till next week at the earliest. The shout there from Jurgen Klopp was that he will resume ball work early next week with a view to then eventually joining first team training. So a blow for Liverpool, losing Trent Alexander-Arnold. We already know that in defence they've got without the captain Virgil van Dijk. He is still suspended for this one after receiving an extra game in his suspension, but there was some good news in terms of the defence. Ibrahima Konate has been in training the past couple of days, so should be available to come straight back in at centre half for this one. And Jurgen Klopp, who alongside Trent Alexander-Arnold also missed England duty, him being called up for England under-20s, he was called away from that with a slight injury, we were told at the time, but apparently he is fit and has been in training, so should be ready and available for this one to boost the defensive numbers in the absence of Trent Alexander-Arnold and also, of course, Van Dijk. In terms of other positions on the pitch in midfield, Thiago Alcantara not going to be ready for this one. He has resumed running recently as he works his way back from injury, but he's not close for this one, not going to be ready to be part of the squad for this one according to Jurgen Klopp, so we'll see how he gets on his recovery. In terms of any others, Darwin Nunez was another player who was mentioned. Obviously he was brought off in the second half of Uruguay's game over the international break because of what Marcelo Bielsa described as muscle issues, but apparently he's looking okay. No real worries around that one from Liverpool's perspective, so the hope is that he'll be available to be in the squad at the very least against Wolves. Now, it might just be a squad place for him because one of the things that Jurgen Klopp mentioned during his press conference here was the fact that his South American players had been part of a lot of travel during the international break, and they're coming back for this early kickoff, and that makes things a little bit tricky. The quote from Jurgen Klopp here I've got is, "I've not seen them yet, I'll see them and then we'll make a decision about the game tomorrow." Of course, as I mentioned, I think that decision becomes a little bit more difficult because it's a 12:30 kickoff rather than later in the afternoon. That time is just squeezed that little bit more, and Jurgen Klopp really not happy about that. And to be honest, he has a good reason for that. To be honest, if you look at the stats here, since Klopp was appointed as Liverpool manager, Liverpool have had 12:30 kickoffs, that early kickoff, following an international break. Now the nearest team to that has only got 6, so half as many. So Liverpool consistently getting picked in that 12:30 kickoff, and 8 of those 12 that they've been picked for have been away from home, so making it even more tricky. Really difficult fixture those, a 12:30 away from home after an international break, and Liverpool seemingly keep ending up in that place. And he was asked about this and his feelings on the schedule, and this was the quote. He said, "We have 4 international breaks until March. 2 of them we have early kickoffs. This is a joke. We have players in South America I haven't even seen yet, and we play in 24 hours. They," who I presume he means the broadcasters, "just don't care about that." As I say, I think he's probably got a bit of a point on that one in terms of the frequency that Liverpool seemingly get picked for this kickoff, but another difficult one coming for them, coming up against Wolves this time around. Now, away from the match, there were other interesting talking points in this press conference, and one of them centred on Jordan Henderson. Now, you may have seen the interview that Jordan Henderson conducted with The Athletic over the international break, talking about his departure from Liverpool and the fact he'd moved to Saudi Arabia. And he said one of the reasons that he felt he wanted to move away from Liverpool after 12 years and being club captain was the feeling that he wasn't wanted, a feeling that he got from both the manager and the owners. Now, Jurgen Klopp was asked about this and said, is that true? Has he been told that he wasn't part of your plans at all and that he could leave? And Klopp started his answer by saying, Hendo said the truth, but then he actually kind of went on to slightly contradict that and said, instead of him, he's a fantastic player, I will love him forever, he's a super guy, but he's not great when he's not playing. And he said that was the reason why, before the start of this season, he felt it was important that the two of them had talks, and they sat down and talked about what kind of role Henderson would have, because he later described Henderson as almost similar to Lucas Leiva in this way, and James Milner when he first came to the club, in terms of being a Jekyll and Hyde character and really not being happy when he's not in the team. So he felt that was something he had to address with Henderson, and he clearly couldn't give Henderson the guarantees he wanted over playing time, and that gave Henderson the fuel then to decide that if he wasn't going to be a regular player here and he wasn't going to be a big part of Jurgen Klopp's plans, and the likes of Dominic Szoboszlai and Alexis McAllister were going to compete for minutes and probably more likely than not pick up the minutes that Henderson would have had in previous seasons, then he felt it was a better move to go to Saudi Arabia. So I thought it was really interesting that Jurgen Klopp wanted to sort of set the record straight on that one and make the point that yes, you know, he wanted Henderson to stay as he had previously said, but that he couldn't offer him guarantees over playing time, and that ultimately is what led to Henderson leaving. Now obviously his focus can't be on matters like that, although he spoke about in this press conference. His focus is all on what is a big game for Liverpool in terms of continuing what has been a really good start to the Premier League season. They want to keep that going, even though it's an away game after an international break and a 12:30 kickoff. As I mentioned, that's a difficult one for Liverpool, but Jurgen Klopp will be fully focused and determined to keep that good run going. As ever, I'll be covering the match, so please keep an eye out for more content, and if you want to do that, please do click like and subscribe. I mentioned it in the last video, but we're very, very close to 10,000 subscribers, so really want to get over the line on that one. Tell all your friends about the channel if you can, and I'll see you soon.